Okay. Yep. Hello, everybody. I'm Desi Arnaz, professional investor, and I want to welcome you guys to today's program, today's podcast. As a matter of fact, this is our fourth episode in a four-part series, and it's all about family banking, dynasty trust. And I'm going to be sharing something with you guys today that's really kind of mind-blowing. When you take a look at it, you're going to go, "Oh my gosh, why didn't I know this? Why didn't somebody tell me about this?" And well, the reason is pretty simple because most people don't even know about the kind of things that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. Um, now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll just kind of move on from right there. So let's see. Here we go. All right. So the family banking dynasty trust that I'm talking about here today is a trust that you can set up for your family and literally create a banking system for use by your family. And that's what I'm going to show you today, exactly how I have done this and how we use this inside our family. As you guys know, this is the fourth and final part of our four-part series on the Family Banking Dynasty Trust. And during this time, we have looked at the fortunes of two of America's wealthiest families. That's the Cornelius Vanderbilt family and the John D. Rockefeller family. We learned that the Vanderbilt fortune was squandered by the very next generation of Vanderbilts. But the Rockefeller fortune has already survived more than 6 generations. Now, how is that even possible? Well, we learned that the Rockefellers implemented 3 strategies that virtually guaranteed that not only would their fortune survive, but also it would grow, and it also created responsible citizens out of their family heirs, as opposed to self-entitled trust fund babies, right? Trust was structured. The family members were all given instructions as a part of being part of the trust that they have to give back to the community in order to remain beneficiaries of the trust. They have to donate a certain amount of their trust proceeds to charities and things like that. So what I love about the Family Banking Dynasty Trust is that you can not only pass on your wealth, but you can also pass on your values, just as John D. Rockefeller did. Well, today's program is brought to you by the noteinvestoruniversity.com. That's noteinvestoruniversity.com. At noteinvestoruniversity.com, we teach financial literacy. We teach you how to grow your wealth using brilliant investment strategies. That's the way I'd like to say that. So head over to noteinvestoruniversity.com to learn more about our training and mentoring programs that are there available for you. So last week, I shared some information on an actual policy that I purchased on one of my grandchildren into your family banking account once a year can grow into some major numbers. As a matter of fact, this particular policy, I only have to deposit $453 a year. That's a little bit more than $1 a day, right? A buck and a quarter a day. So it's not very expensive at all for this policy. But look at what happens when I do this. This policy will grow over time to have a cash value of $1.35 million. And that's with me just putting $453 a year into this policy. Now, that $1.35 million will be left into the family trust and is available for our family bank. right? So if we have people in our family that want to borrow some of that money, they can. That's the beauty of this whole thing. So there's the family bank as far as going backwards in your valuations. For example, if you put your money in the stock market, of course you can lose, right? But in this, you don't go backwards because this is a contractual agreement that you have with a whole life insurance company, and they will be paying this money into your accounts by contract, guys. And that's how this works. That's one of the reasons that I love it. So let's take a look at a family bank and how to use it as a loan source, right? As I said, today is the fourth session and the final session. And I'm going to show you guys one of many ways that you can use your family bank to make your own life better, the lives of your family better, and more stress-free. So, as I mentioned in previous sessions, every bank needs to be capitalized. Okay? And what does that mean? It means that banks need to have money in them. If a bank has no money in it, is it really a bank if it has no money? I mean, think about that for just a second. So banks need to be capitalized, as we all know. So someone needs to make deposits into the bank. And in my family, I chose that to be me, right? Your family, you can choose that to be you. I just showed you an example of me depositing $453 a year into our bank account and how that grows to $1.3 million over time. Well, in an example that I'm going to show you today, I'm going to show you how you can deposit $10,000 a year for just 7 years and give you an example of how you can use that money to do some pretty amazing things. I'm going to show you how you can actually use that money to finance your own vehicles and completely get reimbursed every dime that you paid for those vehicles. I think you're going to really appreciate it. This is one of the things that I first saw that made me say, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. So you're going to be using your family bank to make loans to yourself and to family members so that you can finance your investments and you can finance your own purchases. Right? So we're going to deposit $10,000 a year for 7 years only. After that, we're not going to deposit anything. We're going to make loans to family members, and we're also going to finance our own purchases by using this system. So let's get started here. This is year number 1, right? So sometime during the first year, you're going to deposit $10,000. And by the way, don't freak out over the $10,000 because you can deposit 1,000, 500, 100. I'm just using $10,000 because I want you guys to see how this works. And obviously, if you have a bank, the more money that's in the bank, the more you can do with that money. So I wanted to use a $10,000 number because it's not a great deal of money, but it's also not an insignificant amount either. Okay. So as I mentioned in the previous session, every time you make a deposit into your family bank, you have an option now to decide how much of that deposit is going to be used, will become available for you to withdraw immediately, and how much of it do you want to use to purchase additional life insurance to go into your legacy balance, which passes on to your heirs. You get to choose that. And because this is not a traditional bank, every deposit needs to buy $1,000. How much of that do you want to go to buy life insurance? And how much of that do you want to just be in a savings account for you, earning interest? You get to choose that. You can say, hey, I want 90% of this to be in a savings account, or I want 20%, or I want 50%, whatever, right? Whatever you choose. The example that I'm using here today, we're going to say that I want 60% of what I deposit in the first year to be available as cash so that I can withdraw it if I want to. Okay, 60%. So that being the case, in this example here, you can see just about 60%. It's like 58% of this money is available from this policy, and this was an actual policy that I got a chance to review. Okay, I don't own this policy, but I had a chance to review this policy. So I deposit $10,000 into the family bank $5,800 of it I can withdraw immediately. And by the way, every year for 7 years, as I deposit $10,000 in, that 60% will increase automatically. Is available. The third year is more than that is available, and that's how it works, okay? So here's how this is going to play out. So let's just say for 4 years in a row, I deposit $10,000 into my family bank. Now in year number 4, I decide I'm going to buy a car. And so what I do, I can withdraw from this $28,000 cash value, which is the cash value right here that has already accrued in my policy. I can withdraw $25,000 in my example to buy a car. And I'm going to borrow $25,000 from my own family bank. I'm going to pay my bank 8% interest and monthly payments of $500 and for 60 months. So it's a 5-year car loan at 8% interest, $500. You're saying, well, but you know, the way I look at it is, look, if I was borrowing money from somebody else's bank, I'd have to pay them interest. So why wouldn't I pay myself interest? Why not? Pay myself interest. And so that's what I do. So here's how that plays out. Oh, I should point this out. This $25,000 is, if I never pay it back, because I did from the legacy balance when I die. So my heirs, like if I were to die that year, instead of my heirs getting $693,000, they will get that minus $25,000. Okay, so they get $670,000 roughly. All right, so it's not like I have to pay it back. I choose to pay it back, and here's why: because if you pay it back, good things happen inside your family bank. So I'm paying back $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year, right? So I'm paying back $6,000 a year for 5 years. Take a look at this now. I'm still depositing my $10,000 a year because I remember I said I'm going to put in $10,000 a year for 7 years. So I'm still depositing that through year 7, but after that, I'm not going to deposit anything else into this particular account of my family bank. But here's what happens every time I pay $6,000. If you take a look at this, you'll see that in the first year, I pay $6,000 into the family bank to repay my car loan. But look how much my balance here is $27,000. The second year, I pay $6,000 to repay my car loan. The balance goes up. You see my balance is continuing to go up, and the balance is going up also more than the $10,000 that's being put in here, right? So $10,000 I'm depositing, but it goes up from 27 to 45. Here I deposited $10,000 and the balance goes up $19,000. See, even though I'm only putting in $10,000 and $6,000, I'm putting in $16,000, but my balance goes up. And the reason for that is because this money is earning interest. The cash balance is always earning interest. That's one of the powerful things about this. Even though I borrowed the money out, it's still earning interest. You know, if you had $28,000 in Bank of America and you borrow $25,000 out, it doesn't continue to earn interest. In this case, it does. Okay, so what have we done up to this point? Let me just summarize this so that it kind of makes a little sense to you guys. Okay, so for 7 years, we've deposited $10,000 into our family bank. At the end of 7 years, we have $64,000 available in our family bank. Okay, we've deposited 70. We got $64,000 available. Okay, but we've also deposited $70,000 in savings. We paid ourselves back for the car loan. So altogether, we have put $100,000 into our family bank, right? But we also took out $25,000 from the family bank, didn't we? Yes, we put 100 in, but we took out 25. So our net injection into the family bank has been $75,000. And you can see here that we have a $73,000 balance in our bank account in the 8th year. $73,000. Now, let's go on. Let's say in the 9th year, we decide we need another car. Okay? We need a second car. So we borrow $25,000 again from our own bank account, and from our family bank, and we pay ourselves 8% interest again for 5 years. So we pay $6,000 a year back to ourselves. And check this out. Here's what happens. Every time we make a payment of $6,000, $10,000 or more gets added to the balance. You see here? Check this out. We make a payment of $6,000 to pay our car loan back, but our balance went up in this case here by $9,000. Here, we pay $6,000 to pay our car payment back. Our balance went up by $10,000. Here we pay $6,000. Our balance went up by $10,000 again. Here we pay $6,000. Our balance went up by $10,000 again. You see what's happening here? You're growing your wealth. You're growing your wealth by paying yourself back, and paying yourself back with interest, and keeping your money working and compounding constantly inside this family bank that you own and control. So now let's take a look at what we've done up to this point. We've deposited $70,000 in cash, right? We deposited $70,000 in cash. That's all we deposited. But then we borrowed $50,000 out, and we paid back another $60,000 in car loan payments to ourselves. So we deposited $70,000 and we paid $60,000 back to ourselves. So altogether, we have $130,000 that we have deposited into our family bank. However, you cannot ignore the fact that we also took out $50,000 in cash. So our net injection into the family bank has been $80,000. Does that make sense? $80,000 is what we have in this thing net. But take a look at our balance right now. Take a look at our balance. Our balance is $95,000. We only put in $80,000. But now we have $95,797 in our family bank. Remember, we started this off, we were only going to have $605,000 going to our heirs if we die, right? Or when we die, because we all die. Now, $841,000. That's $235,000 more is going to our heirs if something happens to us. So our legacy is even bigger than before. Think about this. If I had financed these cars through Wells Fargo or through Toyota Finance or Mercedes-Benz Finance, that $6,000 would not go. That would be in Mercedes-Benz or Toyota Finance companies. That money wouldn't be in my family bank. But because I financed that inside my own family bank, that money is still here. So if anybody else wants to buy a car, I want to buy a car, there's the money. It's here. This is incredible. Plus, at the same time, I have guaranteed my heirs at least $841,000 when I die. Not just $95,000 that I have in the bank. $841,000 when I die. So this is, even though this is a life insurance policy, you can use it while you're alive if you structure these things properly. These are whole life policies that are they're engineered for maximum cash value. And guys, that's what you're looking at here. And you use that to create your family bank. Oh, let's not forget, we have $95,797 in our account. But yes, we also have 2 cars sitting in the driveway that are completely paid for. Don't want to forget about that either, right? So, guys, this is huge. This is such a smart way to manage your money. Now, let me ask you something. Did I have to do anything weird or funky to do this? Did I have to change my life in any way? Did I have to go out and grab a second job? I didn't do anything except change the way my money flows through my life, right? Instead of just going from my paycheck into my checking account. It goes from my paycheck in through my own family bank. And then it can come out to do whatever it is I want to do with it. Right. So that's how this goes. So that $10,000, instead of leaving it sitting inside an IRA or 401k, like in my case, I decided I was going to just shut down my self-directed IRA. I shut it down because I thought this is a better place for me to put my money. And so that's what I did. I took my money from my self-directed IRA and I set up policies like this, but not just on myself. I set up on all of my family members. Initially there were 21 policies. Now I think we're at about 24, 25, something like that. And they're not all $10,000, obviously. I mean, I have a couple of those, like on myself and some others, but most of them honestly are $400, $500 a year. Not very much, but it's going to add millions of dollars into my family's family bank over time. Now, the thing about you or me setting up a family banking system like this, a dynasty trust like this, is we get benefits from it like this, right? But the real benefits are going to happen after we're gone. After, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren are going to have millions of dollars in your family. Your family is going to be like the Kennedy family. You know what I mean? Just rich. You are literally going to change the lives of your family members so that at some point, nobody in your family ever has to worry about money, ever. I structured my family bank so that after my family bank has a certain amount of money in it, every year, every member of my family will get a disbursement of cash. They'll get a check. Once a year, they'll get a big old fat check from the family bank. And of course, they can always borrow money from the bank if they want to buy a house or if they want to buy a car, if they want to pay for college, they want to have a wedding, big fancy wedding, they can borrow money from the family bank. They just need to pay it back with interest, right? Just the same as they would any other bank or any other credit card. Just pay it back. That's all we ask. Okay. And of course, if somebody doesn't pay it back in my family banking system, they're out. They don't get those annual distributions. They don't get to borrow money. I mean, they're out. That's it. They're done. But I can tell you, I've already been at this 3 years now. My family members pay first. I think they pay us before they pay other banks, right? Because the benefits here are so huge. Plus, when you take the time to help your family understand how this stuff works, they get it. And they want to pay it back. Because they know that if they ever need it again, all they got to do is pick up the phone and say, hey, I need to borrow $25,000. I want to buy a new car. Or I want to take a vacation. I need to borrow $10,000. They know they don't have to go jumping through hoops to qualify. They don't have to produce pay stubs and W-2s and none of that. So why would they ever screw this up unless they're just idiots, right? And if they're idiots, should they even be in my trust? That's the way I look at it. I don't care if they're family members. If they're an idiot, I want them out. I don't want them to be a part of my trust. Okay? So here are the 3 rules for this. When you're trying to build your wealth with your own family bank, here's rule number 1. Pay yourself first. This $10,000 savings, right? I'm assuming that as a responsible adult, you're saving some money. I'm hoping so. If you're not able to save any money, then again, as a responsible adult, maybe you should do something to make a little extra money. Go drive an Uber or something, right? Go work for DoorDash or something. You should be able to save some money, because if you don't start saving some money, what are you going to do in retirement time? What are you going to do when it's time to send your kids to college? I mean, you need to be saving money. So if you're not saving money, then you need to fix that. But let's assume you're saving money. For 7 years, you're going to save $10,000. So you pay yourself first. That's rule number 1. Always pay yourself first. Rule number 2, pay yourself interest. Don't borrow money from yourself and not pay yourself back with interest. Just don't do that. It's so funny. People open up businesses like a little restaurant or whatever, right? And they just pillage their own businesses. They eat there for free just because it's their restaurant. You know, the smartest business people that I know understand that they don't even eat for free at their own restaurants. They may pay for an employee discount. They may get an employee discount, but they pay to eat, even though they own the restaurant. If they own a grocery store, they buy their groceries. They pay for their groceries. Don't rob from yourself. Don't be silly, right? So the same thing here, guys. If you're borrowing money from your own bank, pay yourself back and pay yourself with interest. It's there when you need it anyway. Okay. So there you go. The rule number 3 is recapture your money, right? That's the name of the game. You want to recapture your money. Stop letting your money leave your family's possession. You send them that monthly payment or you pay that cash balance, that money is gone from your family forever. You can never get it back. Visa's not going to send it back to you. Not going to happen. So stop that. Stop that. Like you pay the Visa card, just like you pay, you go buy furniture, pay yourself back the same as you pay the furniture company, furniture finance company. Do it. That way you recap your own money and you keep it in your family. All right? All of the money stays in your family. Plus, under this scenario, you're guaranteeing that you're going to leave a fat wad of cash in the family bank for the people after you're gone. This is so smart. Now, here's the most important thing that you can do. Once you've established this for yourself and your family, the most important thing that you need to do is you need to teach this to your family members. Have family meetings. You can call them family reunions if you want to, but have family meetings where you explain this stuff year after year, teaching your family members how this stuff works and encouraging them to borrow from the bank and to pay it back, encouraging them to even set up their own family banking trust inside their families. I have adult children and I'm saying to them, why don't you have your own? I mean, this one's good. Be a part of this. This doesn't cost you anything because I'm paying for this. Why don't you set up another one for your family, for your kids, just your generation, your heirs, straight down your bloodline. So why not? Teach them. This is just good money management. This is how the rich get richer because they do intelligent things and then they teach it to their kids to do intelligent things. Those kids go out and do intelligent. Okay? That's how it works. I was watching the TV. We are always teaching our kids something. I was watching a TV program the other day, and this guy was talking. He's a criminal. This is a documentary. He's a criminal. He grew up in a family of criminals, literally. His dad taught him to steal, how to be a good thief, right? How to get away with it. I mean, people are teaching their children things all the time. Why not teach them this kind of stuff? So they don't have to go out and steal. Teach them this. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. As I said, our sponsor today is noteinvestoruniversity.com. You can learn these principles and others over at Note Investor University. Just head over to noteinvestoruniversity.com. Check it out. Go to the website, learn about our coaching program. I have a fabulous one-on-one coaching program in which I teach you how to raise millions of dollars in private money with no credit checks, no background checks, nothing. It's so amazing that students, oftentimes, I get testimonials from them. They're like, I can't believe it. I just borrowed $80,000 with no credit checks, no background checks. One phone call, I borrowed $80,000. If you understand how money works, then you know how to play this game. Most people have no clue how money works. Okay? I knew how to make money most of my life, but I didn't really know how money works until the last decade. And that's when I became wealthy. I've made a lot of money throughout my life. I've owned the Century 21 franchise. I've owned several mortgage companies, and I've made millions of dollars, but I was never rich. Even though most of my family always called me rich. They always, to them, I'm rich, but I never felt rich because I knew that the things that I was doing could just evaporate and getting out there and doing whatever it is that I do, right? Like selling houses or flipping houses, whatever it is that I was doing. But the reality is, once I learned how money works, I realized that that's not how the rich get rich, right? That's not how it's done. You need to understand how money works. You need to become financially intelligent. And I teach you that over at noteinvestoruniversity.com. If you want to sign up for my master's coaching program, where I coach you one-on-one for a full year, check it out. Um, check it out and join me. Okay. It's not cheap, but you can go and be cheap if you want to. There's plenty of cheap people out there that'll teach you stuff that doesn't work. I'm a self-made millionaire. I'll show you how to do it, and I can help you to do it yourself, you know, and happy to do that. Do it while you can. I just want to say that too, because I'm 70 years old. I'll be 71 years old in 3 weeks. And who knows? You know, I might retire here in the next year or two. So take advantage of it while you can. Get over to noteinvestoruniversity.com and let me help turn your life around. Have plenty of testimonials. People have turned their lives around, and you can do it too. And then on top of that, you add this family banking dynasty trust, and now you can turn their lives around of your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids. Guys, it doesn't get any better than that. What else are you going to do? Honestly, what else are you going to do? That's what this is all about. So if you want to take care of your family and you want to provide and live a better life while you're here, right? Not have to live from paycheck to paycheck. If you're sick of that, or maybe you're living not just paycheck to paycheck, but it's just not your best life. You know it's not your best life. You're doing okay. You know, that's a lot of people. They're doing okay. But they know this is not their best life. If you're not living your best life, then you need to do something else, right? If you keep doing the same thing that you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same thing you've been getting. Okay? So if you want something different, you got to do something different. But most people don't have a clue what to do. And for most of my life, I didn't have a clue what to do until I met a mentor 10 years ago, now 11 years ago now. And that mentor said, hey, here's something that you may not have ever thought about. And that's all I'm saying to you. Here's some things you may never have considered. If you consider them and embrace them, they can change your life for the better, financially speaking, forever. They can get you into a position like I am to where I never have to worry about money again, ever, ever, ever. It's just not a thing at all. It's just no thing. And you guys can go there too. Okay? Can you imagine having a life where money's just really not an issue? It's no big thing. You know? And I know some of you say, well, I don't care about money anyway, right now. Well, why you get up and go to work then? Right? Are you doing it just to be benevolent? I don't know. Maybe you are. Don't get up and go to work. You get up and go to work for money. My job that you're currently doing. That would be my guess. Okay? So if you can't answer that question, yes. So if you were already wealthy, would you get up and do what you do every day right now? Would you keep doing that? Yes or no? Okay? Well, if you love it that much, you can just do it for free at that point. How about that? You can do it for free. Okay? That's something to think about. I'm mentoring a physician. She said, I want to learn how to have enough passive income from my investment portfolio that I don't need my medical income, because I want to be able to provide medical services for free. She loves what she does. And I get that. And I said, well, you're at the right place. I can help you to accomplish that. Okay. So guys, if you want that kind of life, if that's where your head is and you want a better solution, then you need to learn how money works. And most people can't teach you. You won't learn it in college because professors don't know it. If they knew it, they wouldn't be broke. Okay. It wouldn't be broke professors. Even the school superintendents don't know it. I know personally a school superintendent that I know is not wealthy. And when I had my mortgage company, I did a mortgage for a school superintendent of a really large county in California. And wonderful income, but the financial picture was a mess. You'd have been shocked if you had seen it. So I know that even though people are high earners, doesn't mean they know about money. It just means they make a lot of money. That was me for a lot of my life. I made a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but I didn't know about money. I didn't know how money worked. I didn't get it. And it would come and it would go, and it would come and it would go. It would come even if it's a big paycheck. But that's not how it should be done, guys. That's not how it should be done at all. All right. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of the Family Banking Dynasty Trust series. And I hope that you will embrace that and maybe even create that for your own family, because your family deserves it. And your family needs someone to take the leadership role and say, I'm going to make the difference in this family. I am going to be the difference maker. Think about this. Suppose your grandparents or great grandparents had done that. What would your life look like today if your parents or great grandparents had created a family banking dynasty trust and put life insurance policies on all the people that have been born in your family before you got here? Could you imagine how much money would be in your family bank right now? Literally millions of dollars. Millions. Okay? And that's all I'm saying. Someone has to start it. Most people don't even think about it. But now that you've heard of it, the only reason that you won't start it, the real reason that you won't start it, is that you're being selfish. You say, hey, let them figure it out on their own. That's the real reason. Because you can't say I can't afford it, because you can start it for $1 a day. So you can't say I can't afford it. That's just not true. Okay? Because you can afford it. Maybe you can't afford $10,000 a year. I get that. But you can afford $300 a year. That's $1 a day, $350, $360 a year. You can do that. And that's enough to get you started. Okay? But you got to start. Someone's got to start. That's the whole point. Someone has to make that decision to start. Most families don't have someone with enough vision to make the start. And that's all it takes is vision and a commitment to do it. And say, I'm just going to do this. So, guys, I hope you guys found this valuable. And I'd love to see you guys do this for your families. If you do, send me an email or something. Head over to Note Investor University. You can reach out to me right through that website and say, hey, Desi, I did it. I started the piece that I did. So that's what I've got for you guys today. And so next week, we'll be back same time, Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. And we'll be delving into another realm of some brilliant investment strategies. See you then.